So what happens when a pair of Oscar-winning actors team up to take down Ferrari?
I'll show you.
What's happening?
I'll tell you what's happening. That's 400 horsepower of American muscle into your crotch. Let's take a ride.
All right, well, find out when we review Ford versus Ferrari.
Tune in to Alternate Ending now.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarasinski.
And I'm the casual moviegoer, Carrie Jarasinski.
And while we have different backgrounds and perspectives on movies, our goal is always the same, to help you navigate the cinema world to determine if you should spend big bucks rushing to theaters, wait for it to come out on streaming, or skip it altogether. This week, we're taking a look at Ford v Ferrari. If you've had a chance to see it, make sure to leave your thoughts on the movie in the comments below. And subscribe to our channel to stay up to date for all our videos.
It's the mid-60s, and the baby boomers are turning 17. They have money in their wallets, and they're not interested in driving the same old cars their parents drove. They want something sleek and sexy. At least that is what Lee Iacocca, played by Jon Bernthal, pitches Henry Ford II, played by Tracy Letts, to turn around his struggling car sales. His vision? Win the Le Mans, a 24-hour race featuring straightaways, twists, and turns that's been dominated in years past by Ferrari. The solution? Hire Carroll Shelby, played by Matt Damon, who's an automotive visionary and one of the only American drivers to ever win the Le Mans. Shelby isn't a one-man show, and he brings with him his eccentric team, including his antisocial British driver Ken Miles, played by Christian Bale.
Together, they try to build a winning race car and put a winning team on the road despite obstacles getting in their way. One of those obstacles is the uptight corporate yes-man Leo Beebe, played by Josh Lucas, who doesn't feel Miles fits the mold of a Ford man. The film is based on a true story and brought to the big screen by James Mangold, whose most recent film was one of my favorite films of 2017, Logan. It's not the first time Mangold has worked with Bale, as the two collaborated on the Western flick 3:10 to Yuma. Care, what did you think of Ford v Ferrari?
I went in fully expecting this to be a total dad movie that I might be able to catch a few Z's in. And although I did drift off a couple times, it was way less than I expected. So the highlights for me, and it's really hard for me to kind of parse out the highlights because it's one of those movies that just feels like it's the full package. But it's really the performances that are great. Christian Bale and Matt Damon really bring Ken Miles' story to life, and it honestly is a story worth telling. And next, the director does a great job of tension building. And more than once during the race scenes, I could feel myself kind of holding my breath and holding my seat. And last, it was unexpectedly funny. Despite not feeling like it was trying to be funny, our whole theater was cracking up. And the lowlights. It did drag a little bit. It's 2.5 hours long, and that's just too long for me. And honestly, I can't think of anything else. I think that's it. It's just a really solid movie across the board. It's not doing anything exceptional, but there really isn't much room for criticism either. So at the end, I gave Ford versus Ferrari 4 stars. And while I think it's totally worth seeing, I don't think you have to race to theaters to see it.
While it didn't make my most anticipated list, I did have high hopes of the Bale-Damon pairing, especially with James Mangold at the helm. The big unknown was whether I could get on board with the story. Highlights for me were the cast, like you care. When you pair two Oscar winners head-to-head in the starring roles and surround them with a strong supporting cast, you would expect nothing less. If I had to pick between the two performances, though, I'd give Bale the edge slightly. Second, like you care, the race car scenes. I felt every acceleration, the jarring effect of each turn, and the elation of hitting 7,000 RPMs. And last, the story. This is one of those movies that you watch and immediately go read about more after. The story unfolds in such a compelling and unbelievable way, I just couldn't accept it really happened. But sure enough, it did. Lowlights for me were, well, I didn't really have any. The movie plays it pretty safe, so it's hard to pick on it. But if I had to nitpick, it would be the runtime and lack of female representation in the film. The first is acceptable, unlike what you thought that the movie dragged. I thought the 2.5 hours flew by, and there's nothing I could think that they would cut. In the end, I give Ford versus Ferrari 4 stars and recommend catching it on the big screen to get the most out of those driving scenes.
We love hearing from everyone, so share your thoughts on Ford versus Ferrari in the comments below. We have other videos like this one that we'd love for you to check out, so subscribe to our channel for all of the latest updates.
If you want more details about all the stuff we're up to, including weekly movie giveaways, head to our website, alternateending.com. We'll catch you next time.
Tune in.